Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make some noise for your boys. Welcome to the field, Team BC. At this time, I ask you please rise and remove your hats, caps, and helmets, facing the south end of the stadium for the playing of our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to McLeod Park in Langley for another great showdown on tap this morning. We have Team BC, Team Alberta, the U16s. After a great matchup last night between the U18s, Adam Forsyth on the call, joined by Gord Randall, former offensive lineman for Queens and UBC, current high school head coach with Sullivan Heights running their football program. Gord, thanks for being back today. Are you excited for the showdown?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It looks like the weather's going to hold off. There was some ugly weather in the forecast here for the greater Vancouver area, but it looks like that stuff's not going to hit until after, hopefully, fingers crossed, the late game today. So I think we're going to be fortunate, and it should be a good one today. Not quite as frigid as last evening, but it's still about minus 2 or 3 right now out here in Langley. Going to be warming up over the course of the day to a couple degrees above zero by the time we're into the second half on this one. So perfect day for some ball, I'd say.
Yep, after last night's broadcast, I did say, it's -3. It is freezing by Lower Mainland standards. And our Alberta audience, I forgot that was the people watching was the Alberta folks out there. And they're like, oh, no, it's -22 in Grand Prairie right now. What are you talking about? So I will let you know.
You got to know your market.
I did have to scrape my windows of my car when I got back to the parking lot after the game. So, take that, Grand Prairie, okay? I didn't have to plug my car and nothing like that.
Hey, yeah, you're above average in that you even had a scraper in your car. So.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, dollar store purchase last week, not kidding. But either way, very excited for today's game. Should be a great one. Also, after this one, coming up at 1:30 today, we have the U17 games between Team Alberta and Team BC. So a lot of talent on display today. These players obviously excited for the opportunity to represent their province. So refs meeting at midfield. Coin flip, explaining over the rules. And we will hopefully get things underway very shortly.
And for those of you that don't know the rules there here at home, you'll see limited kicking game here. So you will see field goals, PATs kicked when the coaches deem them necessary. You will not see kickoff, kick return in this game. So just an effort to cut down on the special team stuff a little bit. One of the reasons they do that for these showcase games is it's just a matter of coaching time, right? You've got limited coaching time with the kids. They've only really had a week or two to prepare for this. So you save them some coaching time in setting up and operating kickoff return teams. You just scratch it from the game.
So you played plenty of big games over your career. What does it mean for these guys playing, kind of representing the province? They're playing with a bunch of new teammates. What's the experience? What are they going through moments before kickoff?
It's such a neat feeling. Like you feel like what you're doing has more importance to it when it's a game like this. Like you're representing your province, right? And I did play a lot of big games in my career. I never got the opportunity to represent my province or represent my country, and I always really wanted to do that because it just, like I said, it feels more important. It feels like there's more on the line. You're playing for something bigger than yourself even, and that you get that added adrenaline from it. So one of the challenges is harnessing that adrenaline, and I think that's going to be particularly true for the home squad here, the BC guys, because they know that they've got all their friends and family out here watching them and stuff like that. So I think we saw a little bit of that in last night's game with the older guys, in that there was some shakiness and some penalties early on that may have just come from guys being a little bit too amped up. So the younger guys here this morning will have to try and keep themselves a little bit more under control than that.
You're also explaining yesterday about the difference between Alberta football and BC football, and that was really playing into Alberta's favor a little bit yesterday.
Yeah. I think if you were watching last night's broadcast, you had two takeaways from that game. There were lots of penalties.
Yes.
and in BC, we play American rules, because I feel like I spent most of the night talking about that. But it's true, and what we saw last night, we'll probably see again a little bit today, is that the BC guys will have some hiccups in adjusting to the different rule set.
So we are underway, 10:08 local time at McLeod Park in Langley, BC, with the ball for snap, first down from the 35. Quick little pass out to the left side, caught, cuts back up the middle, gaining more yards, breaks a couple of tackles, and picks up the first down.
That's number 7 there, Ethan Dahl on the reception, and that's a great start for Team BC. I really like the call. I love the idea of running a screen on the very first offensive play. You know that the defensive line is amped up. They're going to get upfield. And if you guys can play under control, slip the offensive lineman past them, and complete that, you can have some pretty good success there. So that's what they were able to do. I really like the first call there.
All right, so first down BC. Second offensive snap. It's a handoff up the middle, quickly bottled up by Team Alberta and brought down at about the line of scrimmage.
So there's Dahl again. It looks like he's going to be one of the focal points of this offense out of Argyle High School in North Vancouver. Worth noting, you will have, if you did watch last night's game, don't expect to see the same schemes run on either side. These are different coaching staffs. They do work together fairly closely, but these are different coaching staffs. So you will see some different things on offense from both teams and some different things on defense. I'm already seeing that Alberta's secondary is a lot closer to the line of scrimmage today. BC, meanwhile, is already using some different sets than they did last night.
So second down for BC. Snap, looks to his right, overthrows this intended receiver, and that will bring up third down.
So a continuing theme here that we've seen early on. One of the things that is a translation from American ball, you will see the differences between the two offenses. You may have noticed BC's offense was pretty static in the way that they were aligned and the amount of movement that they were using. In the American game, there's very limited motion involved. So the coaching staff here is used to coaching in a more static setup. Whereas I expect, we haven't seen them yet, but I fully expect that when Alberta's offense is on the field, you're going to see a lot more use of motion. Again, because they're just a lot more experienced in making use of that.
So first time seeing the punting unit for Team BC today, early on. A clean snap. He gets it away, kicks it out to his left. And clean recovery by Team Alberta.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to get no yards there. I got to be honest, I was blown away last night. There were like 30 penalties in that game. I think the actual number was like 25 or 26, but not a single one of those was a no yards call on BC, which was shocking to me because that's another rule that these kids don't have to deal with in American ball. I thought for sure you'd see at least one of them, and you didn't. You did see one on the Alberta side, however. It was made up.
Yes.
It was called.
There was a few calls that Gord was not exactly happy with the officials. Neither was the Team Alberta coaches up here in the broadcast booth. First snap for Alberta. Throw to the left. Nice catch. He has room. He has a blocker on the outside. He is going to go all the way. Touchdown for Team Alberta on their very first offensive play of the game.
Flag
There
in the
is a
offensive
flag.
backfield.
There is a flag on the play.
I believe that's probably roughing the passer based on the way the referee is reacting here. So Alberta runs just a little slant pattern from the slot over the middle here. Yeah, they are going to call roughing the passer. So the touchdown will hold up. Alberta runs just a little slant route over the middle here. BC safety gets caught wandering from the midline. So 84 there, you can see him in behind the play. He's got to stick closer to the midline. He drifts off the midline. The receiver gets inside release on his coverage there, number 5 in the coverage.
What a start for Team Alberta. Silas Gardner with the touchdown reception out of Leduc. Number 6, the touchdown pass thrown by James Hill. So right away, Alberta out in front. Let's see if they can hit the extra point, make it a 7-0 score early in the first quarter. Snap is down, kick is up, kick is good. 7-0 Alberta, and all it took was one play, Gord.
Yeah, great start for them. And that was a comfortable first play. They were able to set back, deliver that ball with confidence. Ideal start for Alberta. You get a 2-and-out, you get a short punt, so you start with good field position, and you house it on the first play, and can't draw it up much better than that.
Impressive. So now if you're Team BC, you look at the scoreboard, well, what just happened? So now is the offense feeling a bit of pressure to kind of get things going on their second series of possessions?
Yes, and on top of everything else, because the roughing the passer penalty, they're going to start deeper than they would have otherwise. So you can see the ball's marked all the way back at the 20 here, as opposed to the 35 where it would have normally been.
All right, so BC with the snap, first down. Low snap, toss out to the running back. Breaks the first tackle, managed to get a couple of extra yards. Nice little pickup considering he looked to be in a lot of trouble there, number 7. That's Ethan Dahl.
Yeah, Dahl again appears to be one of the focal points of this attack. You can see he's got some juice. He can move. They're going to have to clean up the blocking scheme up front, though. We've seen some leakage on every offensive snap so far from the Alberta front. So BC's offensive line going to need to clean some things up a little bit here, plug up some of those holes.
All right, second down for BC. The snap, rolling out, and finds his receiver down the right sideline, breaks the first tackle, breaks the second tackle, and picks up a big yardage and a first down.
Got a flag on the far side of the field here. I'm wondering if that's going to be an offside of some sort. They're going to pick it up. I wondered about that. I thought it looked like a clean release, but you saw a lot of the BC kids kind of leaning into the start. In the American game, that would be a penalty. In the Canadian game, it's not.
Right. So Ethan Dahl with the reception there. He is going to be a problem today, clearly. Early on, he is a big part of this offense.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him early on here, and it's clear that the Team BC coaching staff is well aware of what they have in the backfield.
No, first down BC as they try to approach midfield. The snap rolls out to his left, and a big sack and a big loss. Great play by Alberta, number 24, Justin Baniak from St. Albert.
Yeah, roll to the left there. I was just taking note of we're already on to our second quarterback for Team BC, so the first shift was taken by Jovan Shoker. Now it looks like it's number 14, Aiden Hewitt, at the quarterback position for them.
So BC backed up big time, heading into their second down.
So this is a tough situation when you're in the Canadian game. You've got 2nd and 20 plus here. You're just looking to get a chunk here, and you're pretty much in punt mode right now.
Looking to throw. Rolls out to his right side, finds his target on the right sideline, breaks the first tackle, gets out of the second tackle before being brought down just past the line of scrimmage. That brings up third down, and the punt unit will come on for BC.
Now, ideally you want a little bit bigger chunk than that. You don't really want to bother completing something right around the line of scrimmage, especially if there's coverage in the vicinity. If a guy's wide open, that's one thing, but unfortunately for BC, not able to get anything back there, and they're going to be punting from their own end. Now, last time they punted, the mechanic was clean, The punt itself wasn't particularly long, so let's see if they're able to get a little more leg behind it here.
Oh, nearly got away with the block. There is a flag. Fielded cleanly by Alberta. And brought down. The punter was hit on that play when the flag came out.
Yeah, it should still be, because there was such long yardage, it should still remain Alberta's ball here. I don't believe this is going to be a first. Yeah, it would remain third down. So the Alberta offense is going to be on the field here, I believe, unless BC decides they want to re-kick it. So it is going to remain third down, but BC has decided to re-kick it. 10-yard penalty, fair enough. See if you can get a little bit more air underneath this. BC, we saw them have a punt block last night. Alberta's come close both times they've punted so far today. They're going to need to clean up the protection here, or they're going to run into some trouble like they did last night.
5:57 left in the first quarter. Alberta up 7-0. Third down, BC punting. Clean snap, kick down the right side. Not a lot of distance on it. Alberta will field it on the left sidelines before being knocked out of bounds.
That's a really smart play by the returner there. Number 15, Carson Payne. The coverage team, because the ball was so short and so laterally, there was only really one coverage player in the vicinity, and he was concerned with giving him the 5-yard bubble. There was nobody in front of the returner, so he runs up and smartly picks the ball up before it goes out of bounds on a run and able to get a good return behind it. And after the penalty, Alberta actually ends up with better field position than they had initially.
It looked like BC almost stopped there, assuming that ball was going out of bounds.
It did, yeah. And Alberta took full advantage of it.
So Alberta first down. Benjamin Klassen at quarterback for Alberta on this series of plays. It's a handoff. Couple of yards for 22, Cade Penny out of Calgary.
Boy, and if he had followed his blocking on that play, he had a lot of real estate. But you'll see number 62 out in front of him on the pole here. And he just doesn't fall. He simply doesn't follow his blocker. His blocker's going wide, and he goes up the gut, runs into a couple unblocked defenders. If he sticks to his lead blocker here, and to channel Don Cherry for all you kids out there, follow your lead blockers.
Second down, Team Alberta. Another handoff, cutting left, and he is going to be brought down short of the first down marker.
So again, they're pulling blockers out into space here. Number 62, Kalen Chauvin, leading that one again. Really like the way he moves out in front of these plays, and he gets a good block on the edge there to get some real estate. And now it's decision time for Alberta, as you're kind of in that situation where you're just outside of field goal range. It's 3rd and 2 or 3. Do you keep the offense on? It looks like they are.
Big decision by the Team Alberta coaching staff here, going for it early in the opening quarter. It is a handoff, and he breaks up the gut, and looks like he has the first down.
Yeah, should have the first down easily there, as he picks up about 5 when he needed 2 or 3.
Aggressive play call by Alberta there.
Yeah, I like it. In that situation, I really like keeping the offense on the field. If you've got 2 or 3 to go, you've already got a lead here. You're in the opposition end. You've got it. They had a short yardage package prepared. You can see they jumboed up the backfield there, 3 backs in the backfield, extra tight ends. I love it.
So Alberta looking to press, hoping to build on their lead. Klassen at quarterback. Receiver stacked out to the left, and he's looking left. Finds his target, number 25, and another first down for Team Alberta.
Joshua Ma on the reception there for the first time today, and Alberta's offense looks like they're in a really nice rhythm right now. You're getting solid protection up front. BC's only bringing 3 on this play. They're able to run a little bit of a flash play action fake. Klassen's able to get it out in rhythm. Starting to get deep into their own end. I think BC's going to have to start to try and dial up some pressure here.
First down, Alberta. The snap. Fake handoff. Throws up the gut. Nice reception again. Cuts in. Still not taken down. Finally brought in just past the 10-yard line. A nice grab up the middle.
You're going to see a flag down behind the play here. Interested to see if that affects the end results. But again, BC bringing 3 rushers on that play, and I think they're going to need to be a little bit more aggressive in the front here, because they are just not stressing the quarterback out right now.
If this stands, it is another nice grab by number 6, Silas Gardner. It is against Team Alberta.
So I saw what the infraction was there. The Alberta receiver is running on his stem, but what he does is the BC defender is entitled to his ground, right? Most situations, the defender is going to have more of the responsibility for contact than the offense is, but the defender is entitled to hold his ground. On that particular play, cornerback was holding his ground in kind of a sit and trail technique. The receiver runs his stem, but he runs right into him, knocks him clean onto his back. You cannot initiate contact with a static defender. That's going to be offensive pass interference. Did it affect the play? I don't think so. You still can't do it, however. Basically, it's blocking downfield at that point.
Right. So that moves Alberta back, but it is first down. Snap. Fake handoff. Looks out to his right. And, nearly picked off by BC. A great read by that BC defender there.
Yeah, I do really like the look of this Alberta quarterback, but I don't think he made the correct decision as to which guy to throw to there. He had his sit guy along the sideline with a lot more space, and he tried to throw to the crosser more towards the inside of the play, giving the coverage a chance to catch up. You can see number 6 there sitting on the sideline. He had a lot more space.
So that brings up second and very long for Alberta. 2 minutes left in the opening quarter.
So now I don't know what kind of a kick team Alberta has ready to go here and what their range is, but now you're aiming to get it a chunk play here that can get you into potential kicking territory.
Dropping back to pass, pressure. Finds it right about the scrimmage line. That's number 22, Cade Penny, the running back out of Calgary. But it brings up third down, and we'll see what Alberta looks to do here.
Yes, they wanted to try and spring a big play and get to the sticks here, but one of the things with the defense that BC is running right now, like I said, BC's not bringing a lot of pressure up front. That's not a great front and scheme to run screens against. You like running screens against aggressive defensive fronts so that defenders get upfield. On that play, they even had a soft rush from the defensive tackle, so you really only had 2 defenders come upfield, which meant that they were sitting right there to be able to defend the screen when they completed it. So no doubt the Alberta coach is taking note of that as well.
Third down, Alberta. Punting towards the left sidelines and kicked well out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Somewhere Louis Pasaglia weeps. Hey, it's not easy to kick at this level. I mean, as you said off the top, like I coach in the high school ranks here in BC, and you see some teams that just bypass kicking altogether because it's too challenging for them or they're not able to do it effectively. So I think we've seen both teams here, and we saw it last night that, there aren't kicking specialists at this age typically. And so, last night BC had an offensive tackle punting for them.
Well, as we saw in the NFL this weekend, too. Carolina's Zane Gonzalez got hurt, and they're trying out wide receivers in the pregame.
Yeah, ex-CFLer Brandon Zylstra was out there doing kickoffs for them.
Exactly. So it's not just at the minor level. It can go all the way up to the NFL. So late in the opening quarter, BC ball in their own zone. Looking out to his left, finds his man, breaks the first tackle, cuts it outside, finds a running lane, and is pushed out of bounds on the far sideline at just shy of the 35, about 34-yard line.
Ryder Quintana on the reception there. That's a name that you should enjoy saying.
Yeah. I think that's the early candidate for the all-name team on Team BC.
Yeah, I mean, I try to take stock of those things before we even begin a broadcast. What are the names that I'm going to enjoy saying the most? That one's definitely up there for me. So I think we're going to get a late hit here. We're going to see what they call. Oh, no, they're going to call a hold. I thought that somebody contacted Quintana after he had stepped out on that particular play. Oh, so it's going to be defensive holding. That'll still be a first down for. Oh, it was a late hit. Okay. I missed the second signal. Sorry. So there was a hold on BC, but I also saw correctly that there was a late hit on that sideline. Because it was a first down on the play, it'll be a first down. The overall aggregate, I think they move it up 5 and make it 1st and 10 here.
So first down BC, looking to get a spark on offense. Receiver stacked out to the left. Snap, looks left. Same play as last time. And that might be a fumble.
Funny because I observed the last time they ran that play that they actually threw it backwards. And I think that's exactly what they did there. So I think this is going to be, I haven't seen an official signal yet, but I think this should be Alberta ball here.
A questionable decision by BC, but yeah, that definitely looked like a backwards pass. Let's see the replay here.
Watch where the quarterback's feet are. So his feet are on the line. The receiver's behind the line. That's absolutely a fumble.
Wow, what a play by Team Alberta. Quickly jumped on.
And that's just, that to me is a detail overlooked. If you're going to throw that play, unless you have something in mind where you're going to have that receiver then throw it afterwards, you really don't want to be throwing that backwards because you've now brought the possibility of a fumble into it. You want your quarterback to set back and be throwing that ball forward so that the worst thing that happens, well, I guess the worst thing that happens is it gets intercepted. But the worst thing that happens if it doesn't get intercepted is that it's an incomplete pass. It's a safer way of running the exact same concept you were just running. So that's just a little bit of a detail overlook for BC, and it really comes back to bite them here.
Just like that, Alberta in the red zone or on the outside of the red zone. A rush play by the quarterback. He is going to be just shy of the end zone, brought down at the 1 yard line.
That's Alberta's second quarterback in there, James Hill from St. Albert. There we go. Running that ball there. Now, looked like this wasn't a designed run. Looked like he set back, didn't like what he saw, and scrambled up the gut.
Great play by 84 on BC there to save that touchdown.
So here comes that short yardage package from Alberta again. You're going to see three running backs in the backfield, double tight ends up front.
James Hill still in the quarterback for Alberta. The snap, the sneak, flags on the play.
Don't be surprised if this is BC's first lining up offside penalty of the day.
The far sideline ref looked to call it a touchdown. He is signaling touchdown.
Picking this up too.
And it is a touchdown. Alberta finding the end zone.
So, based on the initial signal from the official, I think what the line judge threw is he threw the near side tight end for not checking in and not wearing an eligible number. That is, again, something that's a lot stricter called in the American game that most of these referees are spending their time calling out here. So I think that's why they picked it up. Wow. Also, that's a really ticky-tack penalty to call in an all-star game, so I think they're probably not worried too much about the eligible, ineligible number thing, given that, as we were talking about before we hit air, we saw an offensive lineman wearing number 3 last night.
Yes. Yeah. Couple of mystery numbers in the mix. But yes.
That keeps broadcasters on their toes, right?
Yes, yeah.
Write down a bunch of Key and Peele names and just fill that in,
Yeah.
Duke Marriott Tac Theratrix, number 82.
So the turnover by BC results in 6, potentially 7 points for Team Alberta late in the opening quarter. The extra point. Snap clean, kick away. It is good.
Alberta's quite simply been the better prepared and better executing team here early on. BC's made some pretty key mistakes, shot themselves in the foot, but at the same time, it's Alberta's just kind of been taking it to them. They've had chunk plays consistently on offense. BC has been able to get the ball to number 7 a couple times there, who's clearly a good player, but the consistency hasn't been there. They haven't had consistent blocking up front to spring stuff for him, and then the mistake on that last BC offensive play really comes back to haunt them. So
just like that, Alberta up 14-0, 9 seconds left in the opening quarter. But as Gord just alluded to, it has been all Alberta. The recovery on that last defensive play, I should point out because it was a great play, was Justin Baniak, who's been all over the field out of St. Albert so far, number 24 for Alberta. So he's made a couple of big defensive plays early on, and as a result, Alberta up 14-0. BC struggling to find some sort of offensive spark early in this one.
Yeah, we'll see if they get going here. With Dahl not in the game, he's on the sideline for this particular possession. I'm going to guess they probably go to the air here on first down. They look like they're in a passing set, 5 wide receivers here.
Snap, rolls out to his right. Looking downfield, finds his target, who runs out of bounds, just shy of the first down marker.
It's number 72, Benjamin Teal on the reception. Nice little play there on first down. Get your quarterback on the run, get him out of the pocket, have him with a clean look in front of him, and Hewitt's able to deliver that on the money with nobody in his face. Has the luxury there on first down too of not having to force anything downfield, able to take the crosser that's open about 7 yards deep. Nice little pickup for BC on first down. They're running a stack formation here. You've seen this a couple times already. Very American style formation. You got a triple stack and then a double stack on the far side.
Handoff up the gut. And that should be good enough for the first down.
When they run that later on today, that's a common formation to run screen plays out of. Your receiver stack is nicely lined up to block on the edge there. You can also run some really interesting interchanges from that stack and mix up which receivers running which routes. So that's why offensive coordinators like running formations like that. That is primarily a pass formation. It also has the added benefit, though, those receivers are much further out of the box, so defenders have to really commit to going out to cover them or staying in the box to play run.
First down, BC. The snap, looking to his right. He is going downfield and picked off. It is picked off by Alberta. That ball wobbled a little bit on the throw. A snag by number 2, Riley Easton at a Red Deer. And just like that, Alberta gets the ball back.
You know, and that's just an issue of seeing something come open and throwing it late. The thing with seam balls, kids think like it's a deep throw. So you need some time for a seam ball to develop, especially with a waggle. Your receiver's got a full run at the line of scrimmage. You basically want to hit the seam ball just after he clears the linebacker level. That's pretty much a catch, set your feet, and get the ball out. You don't have time to pump and then throw that. Looked like some early movement there.
So, early penalty, but again, Alberta getting the ball back. 10:30 left in the opening half and already 14-0. Just a bit of an unfortunate throw there by Aiden Hewitt, number 14, out of Chilliwack.
Yeah, but full credit to the Alberta secondary. Like that ball was kind of up for grabs there, but Riley Easton comes across and makes no mistake, comes down with that ball. And so turnover is a story here early on for the BC offense.
So Benjamin Klassen in a quarterback for Alberta. First down from their own 42. The snap, the handoff, finds a seam up the middle. And a nice little run there, and that should be good enough for the first down.
Yep, that's 22, Cade Penny up the middle here. He's had a couple solid runs already here today. And this BC defense, Alberta's taking it to them. Alberta's really controlling the line of scrimmage up front here. There's some really nice seams opening up for their running backs.
Alberta doing the Cade P running back duo. We have Cade Pilkey and Cade Penny, the running back duos for Team Alberta. First down in Alberta. Looks like there's a fumble, ball down. Let's see who recovered here.
They're signaling second down here, so Alberta clearly got on that. You will notice, again on that last play, you could see a bunch of motion crossing the receivers across the formation. You know, again, you're just seeing that Alberta more versed in the Canadian game and more comfortable doing that kind of stuff.
So it brings up second and long for Alberta. Klassen with the call, the snap. Looks to his right, and nearly picked off by BC. Klassen tried to find who was intended target, number 6, Silas Gardner. This BC's 84, Kyle Agiagos.
So this ball is thrown on time. The rhythm here is quite nice. You can see quick flash fake, sets up, gets it out, and it looked like the ball might have slipped out of his hand just a little bit as it wobbled a bit. It just didn't quite have enough snap in it. Had he gotten his full arm behind that, there was a seam there. They might have had a big gainer, but it floats just a little bit, and that gives the safety enough for him to come over and get his hands on that ball. Almost had the chance to come down with that cleanly, in fact.
Third down, punt unit out, snap away, kick off the side of the foot down the right sideline. It will stay in bounds Recovered by BC at about the 35. Picked up. Run up to the 40 before being tackled by Alberta. And BC will bring the offense on the field, looking to get on the board for the first time today.
So I will say, it's much tougher to do this in the Canadian game than the American game, but if I'm a coach on either side, my threshold for where I'm going to punt is stretching with every one of these short kicks. So what I mean by that is maybe at the start of the game my threshold was 3rd and 2 or less. I'm going to keep the offense on the field. But every time I see a kick like that, I add a yard to that. And I would say at this point, my threshold's probably about 6 or less.
Okay. I was going to go, 7 maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see how the next punt ends up.
That's a bit of a stretch. I would say 4, easily 4 at this point in time, though. Because realistically, it's tough to shift your thought process, but if you're going to net 15 yards on a punt, you might as well leave your offense on the field and see if you can convert it.
BC with the snap, the throw, nice catch.
So there's exactly what I was talking about on the previous plays from both Alberta and BC and hitting the seam ball. And that was a really nice job by Shoker there as he gets the ball out quickly. It's flat, there's snap on it, and he's able to hit that gap between the low zones and the high zones.
Nice little throw. There is a late flag on the play. It is against BC.
So it's a dead ball foul. I'm guessing that was some sort of a late hit, something like that.
So they'll mark it back 15 yards from the end of the reception.
Yeah, I did not see the signal as I was too busy losing my mind over the seam ball there. But
first down and 10, 14 BC back to the 40 they go after a 15-yard completion.
Despite the penalty at the end of that play, which is unfortunate, that's the most positive offensive play I think I've seen the BC offense run, certainly since the first possession. That was a really nice in-rhythm throw, and it pushed the ball down the field, too.
So, despite the penalty, hopefully that gives them a little bit of a spark, a little bit of confidence. First down. 8:20 left in the opening half. The snap, looking to his left, and a bit of a broken play there, overthrowing his intended receiver.
Now, that looked like they repeated the same play again. If that's the case, that's the second time that BC's done that today, where they have run a play, it's been successful, they've taken an offensive penalty, and they've just run the same play again. Now, I could be wrong. You have a lot of pass plays, depending on the system, where it can look like the same play from a distance, but the receivers are working specific reads and changing their routes based on what the coverage is in front of them. So I won't necessarily assume that, but it sure looked like it was the same play.
Big second down for BC here. Snap away. Looking out. Ooh, throw down, and it looks like it hit the back of Team Alberta's helmet there. Knocked down, brings up third down. BC's punt unit is coming onto the field.
So as great as Shokar looked pushing the ball down the field, he did not look particularly comfortable with that little dump off there, as he never quite sets his feet, and he doesn't wait for his running back to turn towards him. And this is something that a lot of people overestimate with young quarterbacks is they go, oh, well, he's throwing it 5 feet, like how hard could it be? But the reality is for the quarterback there, he's seeing clean rushers in his face. You've got to coach a lot of time on that so that your quarterback can be comfortable with the fact that, hey, I'm going to see opponents right in my face. I've just got to dump it over their head and not panic.
As a result, the punt team comes out, kick away, run back to about 10 yards to the BC 50, and that's where Alberta's offense will take over with 7:12 left in the opening half, 14-0 Alberta.
More good field position for Alberta, and if you're BC, you really want to stop here, because if this becomes a 3-score game, it's starting to get away from you a little bit already. So really, really key possession here. Alberta can really put the foot on the throat if they're able to put another score on the board here, be it 3 or 6.
So James Hill now at quarterback for Alberta as they kind of rotate their QBs on each possession. He is looking to his left, throwing a great catch by his receiver, and he is gone. What a throw and what a touchdown. Again, it is number 6, Silas Gardner. What a touchdown by Alberta, and they are pouring it on now. It is 20-0, extra point awaiting to make it 21-zip.
Deja vu right there, because that was the exact same play that Alberta ran on their first touchdown of the day, too. And the exact same distance, nonetheless, as that was from 49 yards out, just as the first play of the game. You'll see a slant from the number 2 receiver there, number 2 being the second receiver from the sidelines. He's actually wearing number 6 on his uniform. And BC just has not adjusted to that particular route.
A great grab, though, going up.
Excellent route, and he looks very comfortable running that, and the quarterback looks very comfortable delivering it. But that was a nice seam that they were given on that particular play to throw that. Full credit to them for hitting it.
So extra point away from making this a 3-score game. And just like that, 21-0 for Alberta. A pair of receiving touchdowns for Silas Gardner, both from 49 yards. And it is 21-0. 6:57 left in the second quarter, and Alberta pretty much dominating so far, but we'll see if BC can get on the board before the end of the half.
Yeah, I think if I'm the coaching staff on the BC sideline, my number one thing is that our discipline so far today has been not good. We've taken far more penalties than the other team has. Whenever we've had a positive offensive play, it feels like we've taken a penalty to bring it back. In a lot of cases, completely unnecessary penalties too. So I think one of my big coaching points is, guys, like, we got to clean this up. We got to play clean. We can't beat ourselves.
First snap, first down BC, handoff up the guts, and quickly brought down by Alberta for, maybe a loss of 1.
A draw play there. Alberta was bringing some extra pressure. It looked like they brought 6 men on the rush there. And the draw play can be effective if you're able to get underneath that rush and seal up the middle, but they weren't quite able to do that. Alberta does a good job to rally in and wrap up.
So BC has struggled to convert on second downs so far early today. Let's see if they can find some magic on the second down play and long. The snap rolls out to his right, looking downfield. He does have some blockers, and the throw quickly brought down, well short, and the punting unit will come on for BC. So another great job by the Alberta defense.
Yeah, that's a similar scheme concept we saw Hewitt complete earlier today. But that's a scheme that looks a lot better. You're liking the result a lot more when it's 1st and 10 instead of 2nd and 12, as he is able to complete for a nice 7-yard gain there or so. That's just unfortunately not enough for you on 2nd and 12.
Austin Dunhill with the reception.
The younger your players are, the more difficult it becomes to work from behind the sticks, right? You just don't quite have as much arm strength to push it downfield. You don't have as solid of a pass protection to push the ball downfield. It's very difficult to create long plays when you need them, the younger your players are. So BC's really got to do better on first down if they're going to be successful on offense here.
Punt is away and dropped by Alberta, but recovered. Picks it up, runs it back a little bit, and that is going to be a big loss for Alberta after muffing the punt.
Big shift there, because that muff, not only does it throw off his return, but that muff, I think he would have gotten a 15-yard no-yard penalty had he caught that ball clean. I think the coverage was within that 5-yard bubble. So not only did he throw off his return and end up losing about 10 yards on the return, he lost another 15 on top of that because he would have earned a no-yards penalty. So a really good break for BC. Nice coverage downfield. Number 26 making that tackle, Johnny Gagnon. Another Argyle High guy.
Penalties on the play on the first snap. Alberta handoff, running out to the right side. A little bit of a spin there. Picks up about 5 yards, but we will see what the flags are.
You know, and there's a coaching strategy I like. So Carson Payne was the punt returner on that previous play, who made a little bit of a mistake. Dial his number up right away, give him another chance to have a redemption there, and he runs it nicely. Based on the alignment, we have our BC lining up offside here,
which we saw a lot last night. Not so much today so far, but in the U18 game last night between Team BC and Team Alberta, it was a very common theme.
Yeah, and that is that's the one position group where it's probably the biggest transition from the American to the Canadian game, and they were especially susceptible to that in short yardage because you feel like you're too far away from the ball because you're not used to giving that yard.
Snap by Alberta. Looking left, finds his receiver down the left sidelines. Picks up a couple of yards after the catch, and it is a first down for Alberta. There's number 25, Joshua Ma, on the reception out of St. Albert.
Easy money. They just ran all hitches there, so all receivers push their vertical. They threaten that they're going to go deep, and then they put their foot in the ground and basically just stop in place. You find as the quarterback where you have the biggest cushion, and you hit that guy. Easy money right there.
So 4:20 left in the opening half. Alberta up 21-0, looking for more as they've crossed midfield. The snap. A running play. Finds room up the gut. Picks up a couple of yards.
It's 22 Cade Penny on the carry again there. You know, this Alberta offense just keeps churning up yardage, right? That you're seeing positive yardage on just about every play, and that's kind of how you have to be in the Canadian game when you only have the two downs, really, the two working downs to work with in most offensive situations. You know, eliminating negative plays is just so crucial, and Alberta's they've been positive on basically everything that they've been doing on offense today.
Benjamin Klassen out of the gun, looking to his right, throwing, finds his intended target, number 3, who is brought down. Forward progress.
That's a really great stop there. Peyton Briere, number 38, makes a great break on that ball and secures the tackle as well, creates the stop for BC. Briere, one of a surprisingly large contingent from the Great White North of BC here, Prince George.
Those number 3, Riley Hutton on the reception. Brought down short, so Alberta bringing out their punting team. Now this is in that area you said, though. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. Kind of right in that area of what do you do now, but
yep.
With a comfortable lead, 21-0.
Yeah, that feels a little bit more comfortable when you're on the opposition side of midfield and you're at 3rd and 5, that kind of tweener zone, and you have a lead. All those things kind of factor into that decision making, right? So I don't have any problem with putting the punt team on the field here. Despite what I said earlier, because situationally, I think it's something I feel more comfortable with if I'm Alberta.
So punt team out. 3 minutes left in the opening half. Snap away, clean snap. Clean kick. Right down the middle.
That should be 15, yep. So this is an issue, right? So even though I was saying I was okay with the punt decision there, you're going to get a 15-yard no yard here. You're going to end up netting maybe 10 yards on that punt.
So a bit of a mistake by the special teams for Alberta. And gives BC better field position than they would have started with.
So looking at the sticks, they netted 6 yards on that punt.
So BC looking for any spark of offense to head into the half. Feeling a bit better about their game. Offense on the field. Snap. Rolling out to his right. Looking downfield. Finds a man who's wide open. And a great reception at the Alberta 50.
So Alberta gives BC a little bit of a field position gift there, and BC takes advantage of it on the very first play. This has kind of been their go-to. What they've found has been most successful for them here is rolling their quarterback out of the pocket, getting a couple lead blockers in front of him. You're only running 4 guys in patterns here, but with the coverage having to shift to that half side, you can find some gaps, and Sanga does a great job of seeing his guy slip past the low zone and dropping it in between.
Benjamin Teal with the reception on that play. First down for BC at the 50-yard line.
Pardon me, I said Sanga. That was last night's quarterback. This is Shoker.
The snap, again, rolling out to his right. Oh, it is picked off. That is picked off by Alberta.
So that time, I don't think that was a designed rollout. And I don't know whether the quarterback was on the wrong page, thought he should be rolling out, or the line was on the wrong page and thought he shouldn't have been, or if he just panicked and bailed on the pocket here. But you can see the way the offensive line is blocking. This is not a designed rollout, at least according to the offensive line.
What a pick by number 13, Kendrick Price out of Airdrie. And all that momentum that BC was trying to build just evaporates instantly
Yep.
late in the opening half.
Yeah, and it purely just was not being on the same page there, and I don't know who the mistake was on, but that was clearly an offensive play where the offense was not on the same page.
So Alberta ball back. James Hill back under quarterback. First play is a handoff, run up the middle for about 5 yards. Late flag, though.
The other Cade Pilkey on the carry there.
See what the referees rule. It is against Alberta.
I assume that was some extracurricular activity, although they are just saying. Yeah, so they're going to back it up 15. A little bit of late activity there. And so, hey, Alberta, they've got a comfortable lead still, but they have kind of got it stuck in neutral the last couple of possessions here, and BC's held a little bit tougher. So things are starting to shift back to the middle. It feels a little bit more even than it did early on in this game, where it felt like it was all Alberta. So with 2:12 left in the half here, Alberta's got to try and get some yardage back here and not give BC a chance to close the gap before the half. It looks like a timeout here because I don't see a flag down. Yeah,
another timeout for Alberta. 2:11 left in the opening half. Alberta up 21-0. Alberta, last night's game, we saw the two teams kind of shifting quarterbacks per quarter. Mm-hmm. This one seems to be a bit more fluid, where it's almost per possession or by play design.
Yeah, it is. Both at both levels, though, it's good to see. But both teams are making sure to get both quarterbacks involved regularly in this game, and not just ride a single hot hand. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a showcase for kids to be able to showcase their skills, right? So, yeah, you want to win the game, but at the same time, you're going to rotate through all of your players who are here because they're here for a reason, right? And you want to be fair to them. So,
a reminder coming up after this game is a 1:30 kickoff for the U17 showcase between Team Alberta and Team BC. Last night we saw the U18s. A real good game under the lights. As for today, a great one so far. 2:11 left in the opening half. Alberta ball.
No lights, though.
No lights. Flag on the play. Rolls out to his right. Throws back to the left. Incomplete pass. Pass intended for number 6, Silas Gardner, who's been on the receiving end of 2 touchdown passes so far today.
Looked like there might have been a little bit of wonky early movement, something like that on the line. And there's BC lining up offside number 2 on the day. I'm going to start keeping a tracker here.
So last night we joked about all the offsides that you're just going to create an audio recording we can play. So we might have to bust that out again for the second half.
I'm going to have to re-record, actually. I think last night's was flag on the play was my recording.
Yes.
Not quite as flag happy today as it was last night, fortunately. Still quite a few flags here in the first half. I'd say we've probably got about 8 to 10 penalties total here in the first half. So,
second down, Alberta. Fake handoff. He has a gap out to the left side. Quarterback takes off, running down the left sideline, and gets out of bounds for the first down. Nice little scramble there by number 12, James Hill, the St. Albert native.
That's a really nice job by Hill because he sees out of the corner of his eye his left tackle had stoned the defensive end right short of the line of scrimmage, and so the end doesn't have contain on him anymore. He's still outside of the tackle, but he's so far upfield that the quarterback can just break contain, and there's nobody left on that side. That's a really smart scramble, and I appreciate the vision from the Alberta quarterback to see that out of the corner of his eye as he's dropping back and trying to look downfield.
So Hill with the handoff, running down the right side. Bit of a gap there too. Breaks one tackle and is knocked out of bounds just past the 30-yard line. Nice little running play as Alberta is marching, trying to find more points before the half.
There's Carson Payne again, a guy who's been pretty involved for this Alberta offense.
At what point do we drop a bringing the pain? Well, if he finds the end zone,
he's got to hit somebody first.
Yeah.
You can't step out of bounds without being touched and say we're bringing the pain.
Bringing the pain on the scoreboard, perhaps. So first down, Alberta, just inside the BC 30.
Full credit, he did take a bit of a hit there as he was stepping out of bounds.
Snap, handoff, up the gut. Nice little tackle by BC there. But again, another positive yardage play for Team Alberta as they are quickly moving towards the red zone.
I like the run schemes here from Alberta. They're running a little bit of veer misdirection. So veer misdirection is you have two players running on different angles to the same side. So you can see number 6 running wide there on that same side as 21's running up the middle. So you have the opportunity to call plays where you're handing it to the first guy going up the middle or handing it to the second guy going wide. It forces the defense on that half of the defense to decide, am I going to defend the interior stuff? Am I going to defend the wide stuff?
Cade Pilkey with the carry on that one after we saw his fellow Cade Penny, doing most of the running in the first quarter. So now we're seeing a bit of more distribution from Team Alberta.
And what's nice about those misdirection concepts, if you're able to coach them up and get your backfield timed up, you can basically design an entire effective run game out of that structure right there. So on that same play that you just saw, you could give it to the back up the middle coming to the left. You could give it to the jet sweep guy going wide to the left, or you could fake it to both of them, have the quarterback pull back the other way if the defense is overplaying that. And you could probably design a pretty effective running attack just out of that. Throw in a play action off of it, you've got a nice core of your offense based on one concept. So well-designed offensive scheme for Alberta here today that is really giving the BC defense some challenges.
So minute left in the opening half. Again, Alberta pressing for more, up 21-0. There's a timeout on the field. It turned out to be a fantastic day, too. Just below the freezing mark, bit overcast. There is a potential for the later game, the U17 game. There may be some rain later in the second half of that game. Might bring some theatrics, but pretty much ideal football situations today.
Yeah, for sure. This evening in the Lower Mainland is supposed to be a soaker, but fortunately it's not going to settle in until then. So, minute left in the half here, and BC really needs a stop here.
James Hill in a quarterback. The snap from under center. Handoff. And brought down within the
So how about this wrinkle? This is a quick handoff to the pulling guard on this play. Oh, you guys are warming this ex-offensive lineman's heart today, Team Alberta. My goodness. That was number 62, Kalen Chauvin again, taking that carry. I got to be honest, again, I'm offensive line biased, but he's been one of the most prominent guys on the Alberta offense in this first half. A really great showing from number 62 so far, and Alberta's now knocking on the door. He can go home and say he's retired with 6 yards of carry.
Second down play. Another handoff. Cuts to his right. Great play by BC to bottle him up. Can I ask, what was your career yardage per carry?
0.0.
All right, there we go.
On 0 attempts.
Didn't get the call over at Queens, eh?
No, and despite all my lobbying, I never got the goal line tight end tap too. I remember talking to Coach Sean Olson, who was my head coach at UBC in my last couple of years there, and saying I was the 6th offensive lineman at the time, and saying, "Hey, Coach, I'm telling you, I got a good set of hands. Like, bring me in as the extra guy. I'll come down with anything you throw my way." And he goes, "You know who I've heard that from before?" And I went, "Who?" He goes, "Every offensive lineman I've ever coached."
Yeah. I'm sure
I
he
went,
has.
"Thanks, Coach." I was like, "I'm telling you, man, try me out. I'll do it." He goes, "No, we're not going to do that." Thanks, Coach.
All right, so Alberta left their offensive team out on the field there and then called a timeout. So let's see what they do, but it looks like they are going to go for it. 17 seconds left in the half on the third down.
So again, score factors into this decision, right? So you're up 21-0 right now. It's a 3-score game. You go up 24-0, it's still a 3-score game. So you've got 3 and less than a yard here. You're deep in BC's end. The worst case scenario here is you get stuffed. BC basically just has to kneel it out and go to the half. So that's worst case scenario for you. Best case scenario is you convert this. You've got a timeout left still. So you've got time to run potentially an entire goal line series and add another touchdown here that would make it a 4-score game. So upside, downside for Alberta here. A lot of upside to this decision, little downside.
Huge play for Alberta. James Hill with the call. Handoff. And they are short of the goal line, but pick up the first down.
That is correct. So, interesting to see. The clock will stop as they reset the sticks here. So I think Alberta will sit on that timeout, but they're going to have to get going quickly here. Watch for BC's alignment. This is where they've struggled in getting their yard off the ball.
Once again, Alberta pressing. Handoff fumble. The ball's on the ground. They managed to scoop it up, and is tackled at about the 1, maybe 2 yard line.
Gotta believe Alberta calls their timeout. Here's 4 seconds on the clock. Oh, they don't have a timeout. Okay. Scoreboard's still showing that they do, so.
So 4 seconds on the clock. Looks like there's a... Oh, and there we go. We've reached the half.
So,
A little bit confusion on the field here.
Yeah, so I thought that Alberta still had a timeout left. They did not. Clock runs out there on them.
So, the end result, no points for Alberta on the 1 yard line, but they do enter the half with a very comfortable 21-0 lead. A pretty impressive display by Alberta so far.
Definitely, BC's going to have to really figure out how they can get things going consistently on offense. They started to move the ball more consistently in the latter part of that first half. But, you know, the big mistakes came back to bite them a couple times there, and they're going to have to kind of figure it out, right? They put together a couple of positive offensive plays, take penalties after the play that get them called back. They put together a positive offensive play. You know, they have a miscommunication and throw an interception. You know, that kind of was the theme of the first half for BC on offense. They looked discombobulated for most of the offense. They need to get a little bit better organized in the second half here so that their talent can shine through, because you can see flashes that there's talent there. On the Alberta side, you're seeing more than flashes, right? You're seeing consistent display of that talent, and they've got a great rhythm going on offense. All they did was run out of time there. Otherwise, this could be a 4-score game. So I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself if you're Alberta, although I do know that they're not particularly pleased with the way that end of the half was managed by the officials. Yeah. But I do think that everything's pretty much positive for Alberta going into the half here. You've had 5 different guys carry the ball, all of them fairly successfully. You know, you've got a couple consistent passing plays that seem to be working for you, and BC doesn't really seem to have your attack quite figured out yet. So I think you're pretty happy with that, and I think if you're Alberta too, both lines, both your offensive and defensive line, I think, have been the superior group over their BC equivalents in the first half here. So you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself if that trend continues.
Yeah, MVP of the first half has to be Silas Gardner, the receiver for Team Alberta, hauling in 2 49-yard touchdown passes. Gardner out of Leduc. So Alberta leads 21-0, and we will be back very shortly with second half coverage of the Under-16 Team Alberta Team BC showcase live from Langley at McLeod Park. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Caporal Nadia Bizier, and I'm currently deployed on Operation Calumet in Egypt. I just wanted to take a moment today and send a message to all of you to congratulate you on making the provincial teams. That is an awesome achievement. You should be proud of yourselves. Now, a personal message for you, Matteo. I may be over 11,000 kilometers away from home, mais sache que je pense à toi à tous les jours. And even though the teams won't hear my voice out on the field today, know that the camp will, because we will be watching live from Egypt. So again, congratulations to all the players for making their teams. We will see you on the field.
Good night, everyone!
Welcome back to McLeod Park in Langley, BC, where we are witnessing the U16 showdown between Team Alberta and Team BC. Second half action just about to get underway. First half action was all Alberta. It is 21-0 on the scoreboard. And I'm Adam Forsyth, joined by Gord Randall, former offensive lineman of Queens and UBC, current football coach at Sullivan Heights Secondary in Surrey, running their football program there and bringing his expertise to the field in the broadcast booth tonight. I guess not tonight. That was last night. We're going today, this morning.
Yeah, definitely a one-sided first half there in Alberta because BC got the ball to start the first half, is going to get the ball to start the second half here. So you'll see Ben Klassen get under center here and get Alberta started.
And just like that, a throw, catch against the grain, running across the field. And a lot of ground covered for a pickup of maybe one or two.
Looks like you're going to get a late hit here at the end of the play that's going to back Alberta up. One thing I noticed observing that first play, much like the BC play earlier that blew up in their face, that was a lateral. Might be setting something up there. If that is a lateral, the receiver can potentially throw the ball again. BC's going to have to keep an eye on that. Alberta's going to have to be careful not to put that ball on the ground, though. To wit, you were talking about the first half. Let's get some stats here. The first half. Alberta's offense, 110 yards rushing, 123 passing for 233 total offensive yards. And the leading receiver is Silas Gardner, number 6, with those 2 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty good day at the office on 2 receptions. That is 46 yards per catch for you non-math majors out there.
Is it? Is it 49?
Yeah, I guess it would be 49.
There we go.
See? Non-math major.
Yeah, absolutely.
This.
Oh, nearly picked off on the throw there.
Penalties in the first half, we had 6 for each team, and we've got another one down on the field here, so potentially another penalty here. That was 6 accepted penalties for each team, 55 yards for BC. 70 for Alberta. That one I think is being called in illegal motion because of the incomplete pass. BC's going to decline that, and given that it's third and so this is outside of that threshold I was talking about. I think I'm bringing the punt team on the field in 3rd and 25.
So a good stop by BC early in the third quarter. They needed this, trying to get some sort of spark going. So Alberta's punt team out onto the field, and an early stop by BC's defense. Snaps away. Kick is up. Handled at the 40-yard line. It breaks the first tackle and then is brought down. A nice little return by Team BC. And just like that, they are at the 25-yard line of Alberta.
Yeah, it's tough right now, right? Like that looked like he'd gotten pretty good leg on that kick, but the ball hung up there in the air. It was caught short of where the first down marker was. Then you factor in the return, and again, you netted like 7 yards on that punt. So unfortunately, the kicking game is not serving either team particularly well here. BC's offense takes the field here. They had a tough first half. Only 7 yards on the ground. Last night when BC was able to be successful on offense, they were able to lead the charge with the ground game. They just haven't been able to get things going up front. Full credit to the Alberta front. 95 total yards of offense, 3 turnovers in that first half.
So BC's first offensive play of the second half is a pitch out. Number 7, Ethan Dahl. Saw a lot of him in the first half early on, but not a lot of him in the second quarter.
Yeah, and I think that he'd rotated out in the second quarter. We didn't see a lot of him even on the field in the second quarter, so it wasn't necessarily a lack of touches. He just was shifted out for another player at the same position. And we were talking about that during the halftime show. That's one of the things that you want to do in this type of showcase game is rotate through everybody that you have available to you. So we did have another flag that hit the ground on that play, but it looked like it may have just fallen out of somebody's pocket as they picked it up.
So second down BC. Snap. Handoff. He has a gap. And that is good for the first down. A nice little play by BC. That is number 13, Carter Dallas out of Chilliwack. First time we've mentioned his name today.
So I like the scheme early on here. BC's run a couple runs to the perimeter, and when you've been struggling with the interior of your offensive line, as BC has in this game, you start pulling some guards, doing some misdirection, and going out to the perimeter. We had a toss on the first play, a little end around with a couple pulling offensive linemen there, a couple nice little run schemes to try and get some yardage going on the ground here.
So first down BC. This is the deepest they've been in Alberta's territory all day. Rolling out to his right. Throws it out wide. Nice catch. And brought down just shy of the goal line. A flag is thrown on the far sideline where the tackle was made. And once again, that was Carter Dallas with the reception.
Yeah, Alberta brought some heat there. Looks like they were bringing 6 on the play. Pretty decent pickup. I will say, though, Aiden Hewitt settled down underneath that block there, and I think made that a little bit tougher of a throw for himself. If he had kept going, it looked like he had a seal on the edge there and maybe could have hit his guy in stride.
Do have an Alberta player down, so the medical staff coming out to look at him right now.
And also a BC penalty on the play. I didn't see the signal on what the call is, but they are backing the ball up 10 yards here. Think it was a hold on that play, backing things up for BC. The flag came out late. I didn't see exactly where that call came in, but nonetheless, you got about first and 20.
So BC getting some good field position, trying to get things going, down 21-0 early in the second half, 9:52. You were saying just before we came back on air that conditions changing a little bit. It looks like we might have some misting rain, cold temperatures. But so far, again, ideal football situation. Yeah,
there was a healthy debate here in the press box as to whether this is preferable to what you're getting in Alberta at this time of year. And I will say it can be miserable when you get that kind of – it doesn't even have to be raining, but that kind of misty, really wet cold it chills you right to the bone. So you can see the players on the near sideline here in the BC squad and kind of on the Alberta side as well that are constantly just moving around trying to stay warm because it'll eat you up if you let it.
Here we go. First down and long for BC. Aiden Hewitt under center. Shotgun snap. Drops back. Looks to his left. Throws it up. And caught. There was potential for a pick there. But number 7 holding it in. Ethan Dahl again.
Yeah, there was some pressure right in Hewitt's face, and this is continuing to be a theme for Alberta, is that they are really creating pressure up front effectively with their defensive line. So Hewitt forced to throw off his back foot here when he really didn't want to. And so that ball floats up a little bit, and BC fortunate, the Alberta defender, number 17 there, Tegan Watson, just narrowly misses getting the knockdown there.
Second down for BC on the 5-yard line.
Got that stack look, but 13 looks like he's a little lost right now.
Hewitt with the snap, the handoff, the reverse, and stuffed for no gain.
So I think BC, no hesitation here. They're going to leave the offense on the field here. They go back to that end-around counter look.
Yep.
Kind of like Led Zeppelin finishing with Stairway to Heaven. They played the hits there, and Alberta was all over it.
Hewitt quickly running over the sideline, getting some instructions from his coaching staff there. Back into the huddle.
BC's offense in this game, I should point out, being coordinated by Jay Prepchuk, who is the quarterbacks coach at Simon Fraser University. That's one of the cool things about this program is that a lot of the university coaches are very involved in it. It gives these kids a lot of really good exposure with the local universities.
Biggest play of the game for BC so far, third down in the red zone. Throw into the end zone and overthrows his intended target. No good. Turnover on downs, Alberta ball.
So BC ran quads to the field side there, so 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. They motioned their slot number 13 into the box to help seal on the front side edge here in the pass protection. I'm not a huge fan of using your 5'6" receiver as a key blocker on that play. Let receivers receive and let blockers block. But that's just my philosophy on things.
That's
I remember that came up last night, right? Yeah, I brought that up last night too because I am an offensive line loyalist. So Alberta needs to get out of the shadow of their own goal line here, but got to be feeling pretty good about their stop.
It's a fake handoff, rolling out right. He has some room, too. He's going to make a move for it, and a nice little scramble for a first down.
So remember what I was talking about before the half with misdirection set? What you saw there was what I was suggesting you could run off of that play. So you got the fake up the middle, you got the fake end around, and then the quarterback pulled both and booted to the opposite side. Easy first down.
Nice little scramble by number 12, James Hill there.
I love it when coaches make me look good. Love it.
All right, first down for Alberta. Now not pinned in their own zone as much. Handoff play up the middle. Good for about 5 yards.
Same scheme, opposite way. They gave to the first man this time. So if you're Alberta, I'm going to keep running that very different variations on that same scheme and make BC figure out how to stop it because they haven't shown the ability to do so thus far.
7:08 left in the third quarter. Alberta still up 21-0. BC looking to get on the board, but Alberta with the ball. Three receivers out to the right for Alberta. The snap. He is looking right. And again, Hill's going to scramble. And that is good for the first down.
We've seen this a couple times from Hill. It looks like he's one of those types of guys where he is a one read and take off type of quarterback. He barely sets his feet there, decides he doesn't like what he sees, and gets downfield. It looked like number 3 was open there for his little check down to the stick there, but decided he wanted to make it on the ground, and he does. So hard for me to complain too much about that if I'm a coach.
Yep, nice little scramble game from Hill so far this game.
Yeah, been able to use that effectively. He's got a really good feel for the pocket and seeing where his seams open up for him to escape from it. I do think that he does tend to escape on it a little bit quicker than he needs to sometimes, but at this age, make hay and make things happen. You don't want to stifle that too much out of your kid if they've just got that kind of playmaker built into them, and it appears that Hill really does have that going on.
So BC, injured player down the field, but he is making his way to the sidelines. 50, that is Gavin Christensen out of Souk. But back on the sideline, and we are set to resume with a first down for Alberta.
Another guy from Belmont High School, which is actually up in Langford, just outside of Victoria. They've had a good showing here this weekend. They had 3 different guys playing in last night's game as well, so good representation from Belmont High.
James Hill taking the snap. And this time the scramble does not work as he is brought down.
Connor Steeves, another Vancouver Island guy, this one from Mount Douglas in Victoria, ending up cleaning that one up. The initial pressure, trying to catch the number here, I think
59. So 89 is Pierce Friesen with the initial pressure there.
Yeah, that is 89, Pierce Friesen with the initial pressure.
So just like that, second and long for Alberta.
And that's the first time BC's been able to generate any kind of real pressure in the Alberta offensive backfield today. A really big play for BC to be able to create something there. Puts Alberta in long yardage for what feels like just about the first time today in terms of just straight on merit as a stop, as opposed to a penalty putting them behind the sticks. Here's that misdirection again.
And then looks back to him, throw across the field. Nice reception, but still well short of the first down. Still scrambling for yardage.
There's a hold.
There's a flag as he is knocked out of bounds, short of the marker, but it is a hold.
Yeah, very clear hold right at the point of attack there. The blocker gets his hands outside. You'll see number 34 in orange here right at the point of attack. Very clear hold. Easy call. I think BC's going to decline that, though, because he did end up well short of the sticks. And
let's see if he declines.
Yeah, they are going to decline it here. The receiver was number 6, Silas Gardner.
There, they are declining. So third down. He initially indicated second down there, so I thought for a moment they were going to take the penalty, but nope, there you go. The punting team coming on for Alberta.
Yeah, it looked like the referees were expecting to back it up there, but that is not what the BC team wanted to do, and that's the right call to decline that call, in my opinion.
So after some first half struggles by BC's defense, they've had back-to-back successful stops, and we haven't really seen the ball outside of the Alberta territory so far, and we're, 7 minutes into the third quarter.
Well, and the punt team comes back out here, always a bit of an adventure. We'll see if Alberta can push this. I think midfield would be a win for Alberta on this particular play.
And that's pretty much where it is. 50-yard line for BC, brings it back to midfield, breaks a couple of tackles, tackled down the left sideline, and that is at the Alberta 45.
So more good field position from BC. Now, they opened that last drive with a couple run plays. They got creative with their run schemes, found something, but Alberta reacted to a couple of those same run schemes when BC got in deep and was able to adjust nicely. So be interesting to see what BC has for a counterpunch. If you recall, last night I was talking about how Alberta typically seems to have the size advantage in these matchups up front. That wasn't really the case last night. It does appear to be more the case here this afternoon. As you can see on the BC offensive line, you've got a lot of size at left tackle, number 67, Dejan Guzina there. The rest of that BC offensive line, though, looks like they're giving up some size to their Alberta counterparts.
Which is what you mentioned the previous red zone attempt when they were using some of the receivers in blocking schemes. So, BC first down, the snap, looking left, throw, and it is picked off by Alberta, and he has room. He crosses the BC 50 before being pushed out of bounds at the 40, maybe the 35. We'll see where they rule him out at, but an interception for Alberta, and that was pretty much as easy an interception you're going to see.
Yeah, right to him. That looked like Shoker throwing a spot throw. So throwing to where he expected the receiver was going to come open, not actually seeing the coverage develop, but throwing to where he felt like the coverage should have been open, and he just ends up throwing it right to him.
Number 7, Ryan Hassett out of Calgary with the interception.
And if he hadn't caught it, 17 was standing right behind him. I think he would have caught it instead, Tegan Watson. So just an issue with a quarterback anticipating a throw and not seeing that it isn't there.
So BC's defense getting the job done, but the offense letting them down a little bit. So BC's defense right back on the field. Alberta snap, first down, rolling out to his right, throwing, and through the hands of the intended receiver, number 33, Elias Cooper out of Barnwell.
Yeah, the issues have been myriad with the BC offense. They haven't had great quarterback play. Officially, that's the third interception of the game, but if you remember, they also lost what was officially a fumble, which essentially was an interception as well, in that it was a bad throw behind the line of scrimmage. So the quarterback play has not been outstanding. To their credit, though, the offensive line play has not been outstanding either. So a lot of challenges for the BC offense right now. Alberta is besting them pretty soundly on that side of the ball.
Second down, snap, throw coming. Scrambles out to his left, still looking for an intended target. Throws against the grain downfield, and incomplete. That brings up third down.
There were some calls for a pass interference penalty there. I do think that the ruling from the referee is going to be that wasn't going to be a catchable pass. The Alberta receiver had elevated for the ball already, and it was well over his hands. I think that's a good call, good non-call, excuse me.
BC player down. We have a pretty good sizable crowd tonight, or this afternoon rather, at McLeod Park in Langley. And that was maybe one of the more animated I've seen the crowd so far. A lot of the throwing the hands in the air, indicating they wanted the pass interference.
Again, a good traveling contingent from the Alberta side here. Given the road issues between here and Alberta, it's been good to see that type of contingent out. Obviously, they could fly as well, but lots of support here for both sides, which has been nice to see.
So these series of games were originally intended to be played back in the summer, but delays led to this situation, which is, again, perfect weather and great to get this showcased in before the holidays. So it's a nice little way to head into the Christmas break for a lot of these young players.
Before the holidays and before the inevitable Omicron shutdown?
I mean, the U17 game is at 1:30 today. There is a 1 o'clock press briefing with BC Dr. Bonnie Henry. So
hopefully we get grandfathered in.
Yeah, we're going to assume we're going to get grandfathered in for that game, but we'll see what happens.
They clear out the press box at halftime. I swear, if we have to do the second half outside, I'm going to die.
Yeah. I did not bring the gloves I brought yesterday. And looking at people all bundled up outside right now, I'm not too envious of them. So the injured BC player making his way off to the sideline on his own accord. Looks like it could be a bit of an arm injury or something like that. But here we go, punting unit out for Alberta. Snap away. Left-footed kick. BC with the catch, flag on the play. And again, we've frequently seen that on punts today.
Yep, another 15. That'll be, the ball was caught in the air there, so the no yards penalty is going to be a 15-yard variety. And again, that punt's going to net them like 4 yards. You guys may just want to stop punting.
So 3:11 left in the third quarter. Alberta still up 21-0. BC looking for any semblance of an offensive spark. Their last series possessions resulting in the interception.
Full credit to the BC defense. They've really battled and have held Alberta's offense in check here in the second half. They just got to get something going on this side of the ball. New quarterback for BC here.
There's a play, scramble, and it is going to be, oh, he kind of fought his way back to the line of scrimmage, so a nice little play there to avoid taking a loss.
A third quarterback of the game for BC here. That's number 9, Angelo Avila, now taking snaps, another Belmont High guy. You know, and again, like, you see on the front side of that play, you got number 13, your receiver, Carter Dallas. You have asked him to block a defensive end in number 95, Rain Bannock, and he looks like he's giving up 6 to 8 inches and probably 70 pounds. Just not a matchup that you really want to rely on.
Second down and long for BC. The snap. And whistles. It looks like BC jumped there.
So remember last night, the BC squad had some receivers with some size, right? And I was talking about how some of those guys could profile as good quality slot guys in the Canadian game. That's one of the things that the BC offense is kind of lacking. As you look at their receiving core, lots of good athletes out there, a lot of small guys. And so if your scheme, you're wanting to add guys into your protection and give your offensive line a little bit of help, you just don't have a lot of big bodies to do a lot of help there, right?
A frequent name we saw last night was that number 88, Thomas, just coming across the middle. You really liked him. I think he had 3 or 4 receptions last night.
Yeah,
that Second down for BC. The snap. And another quarterback scramble. He will be brought down short of first down yardage.
So here's a new look that we haven't really seen so far today from the BC offense, because the first couple quarterbacks that we saw in this game appeared to not really be much of the scrambling type. We did see a little bit of run from Aiden Hewitt, but Shoker in particular very much built and profiles like a true pocket passer. Avila, they run some read option there, a little bit more of a dual threat type of guy. Maybe this gives a little bit different look for the BC offense. They're at 3rd and 4. They're going to keep the offense on the field here. I do think that's the right call.
So as you were talking about earlier, saying about some punting issues for both sides today. They're down 21 points late in the third quarter. The snap needs about 4 yards. Another scramble play. And great job by Alberta's defense, bottling them up well short of the first down. It is a turnover on downs. Alberta takes over at the BC 40.
Thought they might have had the opportunity to get to the sticks there if he kept vertical, but he tried to bounce it outside. Alberta did a really good job rallying up there and getting him down. I still like the call to go for it. Sometimes these things just don't work out for you, even if the decision-making process is probably the right call.
So the offensive struggles for BC continue despite the quarterback change, but BC's defense has been doing a great job so far, actually since about the early second quarter, of keeping Team Alberta out of the end zone. We'll see what happens on this series of plays. First snap, looking out to his right, finds his receiver along the sidelines, caught and brought down for a first down at the 30-yard line. That is number 15. That is Carson Payne out of Calgary.
Carson Payne again heavily involved, particularly here in the second half. He's had a couple runs, caught a couple passes, so he's been in the center of the action for the Alberta offense here.
30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Again, Alberta still up big, 21-0, and looking for more to put an exclamation mark on this game. Let's see what this discussion is here amongst the referees. Injured player on the sideline there. He's kind of shielded from our broadcast vantage point because of the white tent down by the sidelines.
Owen Lowell, number 34.
He's back on the sidelines, so we can get things underway again. Once again, though, a pretty nice game overall from the Alberta offense. Lots of different looks, lots of different players getting involved. They seem to be rotating pretty frequently between the two quarterbacks, Klassen and Hill.
Mm-hmm. And two Cade Pease in the backfield. This time it's Cade Pilkey in the backfield for Alberta.
Hill under center right now. First down, Alberta. The snap. Handoff. Up the middle. Grinding out a few more yards after contact, too, before finally being brought down at about the 24-yard line.
There's that little veer misdirection scheme again. They went first man this time on the dive.
So early in the game, we saw a lot of Cade Penny, number 22. Now things have kind of transitioned a little bit where it's Cade Pilkey picking up all of the ground yardage.
And that it will be the end of the third quarter. So Alberta still holding on to a 21-0 lead, but threatening here. And again, this is a situation for Team BC. You absolutely need to get a stop here. You cannot allow this gap to grow any bigger, or it's probably curtains.
One of the cool features of McLeod Park, if you can hear it being picked up on the broadcast, is we are right next to the Langley Airport. So a couple of planes flying over, a helicopter earlier, a nice little visual vantage point in between plays for if that's what you are hearing on the broadcast. But
yeah, I saw one earlier that I think was like World War II vintage single prop type of plane. This one was just a boring de Havilland Otter or something like that. But yeah, no, it's a really neat facility out here for those that haven't been out to this facility in Langley, BC. It's kind of a big sportsplex around us. So there's the field and track and field facility here. There's a track and field club. In fact, they're doing some javelin practice out beyond the field right now. There are softball diamonds, a rugby pitch. Langley Secondary School is right next to us here. You've got a huge 4-diamond slow pitch facility, and then there's a great little baseball diamond back in there for Langley Minor Baseball. Plus the airport. Lots going on around here.
A lot of movement on the line there and a bunch of flags. That play blown dead.
We will see who gets called here. BC's D-line clearly did move. Question is whether Alberta's also moved.
Refs coming in to talk about it. So we've first play of the fourth quarter, some flags.
BC jumps into the neutral zone there, and that's going to give Alberta the first down.
So not as many flags as we saw last night in the U18 game, but still quite a bit today. As you said,
yeah, that was a pretty high bar to clear.
Yes, as you said, a lot of these players have only really been practicing together for a week or so, so you can kind of expect some of these type of penalties. But here we go. Handoff up the gut, right up to about the 10-yard line.
And BC just has no answer for that dive off that misdirection look right now. And the thing is, when you have a scheme like that, if the first man play is going to work for you, just keep running it. Interesting, too, Alberta is tightening up the splits on the offensive line there. It's a very – I was talking about how BC's running a lot more American-style looks. That's a very American-style look, kind of a wedge look, short splits, power football up the middle. Really interesting scheme for the Alberta squad here.
So Alberta player down on the field, so the trainer's coming on to attend to him. But second down coming up for Alberta as they are on just outside of the 10-yard line, looking for more. Already up 21-0. This touchdown here, if they can manage to get it in, would probably cement things. You never know. There is still quite a bit of time on the clock, but safe to say the way BC's offense is operating, a 28-point deficit is a lot to overcome.
Yes, it would be a lot to overcome. BC's offense has really struggled today. There's no real bones about it. They haven't been able to consistently hit much of anything. They've had a couple flashes here and there, but they've just not really been able to string it together and achieve any kind of consistency, as opposed to this Alberta offense, which, again, you just see it just seems to continue kind of rolling in the right direction. They haven't put up any points here in the second half, but they've moved the ball pretty much every time they've had it at least a bit.
It's really nice to, it's couple days before Christmas, and so much football. We have the football going on live in McLeod Park, and then because of the COVID situation in the NFL, it's been NFL since last Thursday, and we have 2 more games on tap today, too. The Washington football team taking on the Eagles at 4, and then the Seahawks just down the I-5 from us here in Langley, BC, taking on the Rams. They are in California tonight, though, for that one. Both those 4 o'clock starts, so we'll see what happens with those games.
Given that I'm a diehard Seahawks fan, but given that they're junk this year, I'm just more upset that game preempted the Frisco Bowl that I wanted to watch tonight.
Yeah, there you go. And I can now rub it in your face a little bit that I'm a Packers guy, although I know it's the Packers this year.
There's a lot of you around. We grew up in the Brett Favre era. I get it. I was a huge Brett Favre fan back in the day, but then I realized that Wisconsin sucks. So
it was playing Madden 98, and it was always Favre to Donald Driver and Antonio Freeman.
Yeah,
and then it always becomes.
Who was their tight end in that era? I was always a tight end guy playing Madden. I loved using tight ends. That's a great question. I don't have the answer for you. I find that when you ever ask someone, like, what's your favorite team, it's always about, like, what was the first plush football you got and the logo on it. And that marks it. So that's for any young fathers out there, if you're getting your toddler a football, that's the team they pick, so be careful with it. All right, we're back in action as the injured players off to the sideline. Second down, Team Alberta trying to find the end zone for a 4th time today. The throw and knocked down by BC. Nice little play there, and that will bring up 3rd down. See, my toxic trait is that I pick sports teams that are generally awful, and then I dedicate my entire life to being upset that they're awful.
Oh, so you're a Canucks fan.
I am indeed a Canucks fan. Should we get into your background as a Canucks fan there?
Hey, sure, we could spice things up a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't my past. I wouldn't want to be outside today based on what I used to wear.
So for those of you that don't know, what I'm alluding to is that you are listening to, and I'm not referring to myself, you are listening to one half of the infamous Green Men tandem of Vancouver Canucks fandom. I believe the charter members of the ESPN Sports Fan Hall of Fame, correct?
Absolutely we are, yep. And, I was the hefty guy who didn't do the handstands. That was all my counterpart, Ryan Sullivan.
You look like you're in handstand shape right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I might be too old, if anything, but there we go. Field goal up and good. 24-0 Alberta as they continue to pile on. 10 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter.
Always good to add points. Not huge consequence to those extra 3 points. What it does mean is that if BC is going to get back into this thing, they're going to have to convert each of their 3 touchdowns, but it is still a 3-score game. So the degree of difficulty, to steal an Olympic term, has been raised a little bit here, but doesn't change a whole lot in the grand scheme of things yet, at least.
So BC's offense looking for anything at this point. You don't want to be shut out in a showcase game, but again, that is a testament to Alberta's defense as well. So we'll see what happens with this series of plays. First down for BC. The snap. Throwing against the grain, out to the left side. Nice reception. Breaks a couple of tackles.
So that's a play that we saw BC run a couple times early in the first half, and we haven't seen a lot of since. And that's the guy that consistently has been kind of their biggest weapon on offense they need to keep involved here, Ethan Dahl.
He definitely has been a catalyst to their offense, and like we saw the first couple plays in the first quarter, we thought, okay, well, he's going to make a major impact on this game. Spent a little time on the sidelines in the second quarter, but appears to be back in, pretty much playing every snap so far in the second half. So, second down, about 3 or 4 to go. The snap. Looks to his left, and it is sacked. A big play by Alberta.
Big is right. That's big Carson Hartman making the play there. And one of the few times where leaving your feet and getting your hands up actually works out for the defender, as it looked like that spooked Hewitt out of throwing the ball.
You were talking earlier about the size differential. That is a size mismatch. That is a big boy coming at you.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was by design, but the BC left tackle, instead of kicking out to him and the defensive end there, worked inside and left the defensive end for BC's running back. You know, Dahl's a pretty good player, but that's not necessarily a matchup that I would particularly like.
Okay, so here we go, third down and long, and they're leaving their offense on the field. The snap, looking to his left, going up the middle, big hit, and incomplete pass. That is a bone-crunching hit up the middle.
You know,
that hurts.
That scheme, what they dialed up there, it worked. You know, Hewitt threw to the right guy, but you'll see that he pump fakes first here. I'm not sure why. There wasn't a short route being run that the pump fake even sells, and then because of that pump fake, he hits the seam ball and ends up leading his guy right into the safety coming downhill. You know, that's, to borrow a hockey term, that's what hockey guys would call a suey.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
He led his guy into trouble, kind of the way Tom Brady sold out Chris Godwin the other night for the Bucks. You know, it just unfortunately puts his receiver in a position where that's a very, very tough play to make, a tough catch.
39 Russell, Arizona. Still down on the field, but it looks like he's up on one knee at this point. But yeah, that was a big hit. No word if his quarterback's gone to the sideline to throw a Microsoft tablet.
We don't have that kind of budget around here.
Exactly.
Remember, he's a competitor, but when Odell Beckham throws a tablet, he's a diva.
Yes, exactly. All right, so turnover on downs as BC trying to find its way back into it, but coming away with zeros again. So Alberta taking over in BC territory, lined up at the 35.
And I would expect them to keep the ball on the ground for first down here at least, or run that type of pass play that works like a run. So an easy completion, not necessarily pushing the ball down the field.
Snap, run, up the middle, finding room, breaking a tackle, spinning away from another one. Nice gain there on the ground, and that is a first down for Alberta, and they are quickly into BC territory.
And Alberta's offensive line, basically, that looked like it was probably what we call an RPO, because it looked like Klassen this time. It looked like he wasn't entirely convinced as to whether he was going to pass or throw or hand the ball off. Decided to hand the ball off late, and that Alberta offensive line made any option the correct option there, because they pushed the BC front around on that play.
First down, Klassen out of the gun. Penalty flags fly. He rolls out to his right. He's going to run it, taking on the two defenders. Cutting his way to the outside. Nice little pickup there before being pushed out of bounds, but there is a flag on the play. So far today for Team Alberta, James Hill, number 12, has been kind of the scramble quarterback, but that was a nice little play by 11 there, Klassen. We'll see if the play comes back, though. No, penalties against BC. Penalty is declined. And the sticks move.
First down, Alberta.
First down for Alberta now at the 4-yard line. First and goal. Klassen staying in at quarterback. Loading up the right side of the receivers. Bit of a mixed message handoff there, but he's going to try to find the corner of the end zone. Dives with the pylon. Touchdown, Alberta. What a play by Benjamin Klassen, finding the pylon.
Looked like there was a version of that kind of bread and butter misdirection scheme they've been running throughout most of the afternoon there, and they just got a little bit mixed up, so Klassen did the smart thing and just got out of there.
A great play. Watching the replay there, takes the hit, finds the pylon, touchdown, and it is 30-0 for Alberta. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Klassen out of the bustling metropolis of Airdrie, Alberta. That's one of my favorite names to say.
Airdrie. So, extra point away from making this a 31-point lead. Kick is up. Kick is good. So you mentioned the Green Man stuff earlier. I didn't do a lot of football stuff because it was just simply too cold for me to be running around in a spandex green suit. And,
wait, you didn't end up at an Eagles game?
I did not.
Wasn't that where
Eagles
that
games.
shtick originally came from?
That's where we got the idea for the Vancouver Canucks Green Man. We stole it from the show.
No, they got the idea for you, right?
Yeah, not quite. We stole it from them, but it was the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia, going to a Philadelphia Eagles game and kind of danced around the green spandex. So we're like, we'll do a Seahawks game, and then the suits didn't arrive in time, so we ended up going to the Canucks. It kind of took off. We were the guys who sat by the penalty box, harassed the fans. The only time we did
waffles.
The only time we did anything football related, we ended up going to a BC Lions game versus the Montreal Alouettes, and it was at the Temp Stadium when they were renovating BC Place, and the Alouettes coaching staff screamed at us because we were on the sideline and we weren't supposed to be. But BC and the CFL told us we could, so I got away with it. And there you go, another pick by Alberta running down the right sideline before being shoved out of bounds. And it's going from bad to worse for BC at this point.
Yeah, at this point, you're this deep in the game. They're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something hits. And
it did hit. It hit the hands of the Alberta.
It did indeed, yeah. And I mean, it is what it is. Like when you have this kind of a scoreline, sometimes you just say, look, put the ball up, give your receiver a chance to make the play, and let's see if our guy can make a play here. And this time around, the Alberta guy makes the better play and comes down with the ball.
And you can see on the replay, too, the size mismatch there, too, right? He just cuts in front of the intended receiver. He has 3-4 inches on him.
Yep.
And an easy catch. And just like that, Alberta is now back in BC territory looking for more offense. The handoff up the left side. Breaks a couple of tackles. First down and more before being shoved out of bounds. A nice little play by Riley Hutton of Alberta.
Riley Hutton out of Rocky Mountain House. You know, I drove through there last summer. Beautiful spot, although it was during the smoky time of summer, so unfortunately wasn't able to see much. But I really enjoy seeing some of the different locales that these young men are from in Alberta. You know, there's guys from all over BC on the BC squads as well, but you know, football is largely centralized around the Lower Mainland here in BC. Alberta, you're seeing more of these small town guys involved. You're seeing Drumhellers, Rocky Mountain House, Airdrie, Leduc, Olds.
First down for Alberta. The throw to the end zone. He finds his target wide open. Touchdown, Alberta. A great throw. Silas Gardner's third touchdown reception of the game.
Yeah, in the BC secondary, I wonder if part of that is not being used to defend that much grass in the end zone. Again, another difference in the American game is it's only a 10-yard end zone. And it felt like their secondary, especially their safety in the middle of the field, it felt like number 80 there, he was just playing more shallow than he needed to be on that particular play. Easy catch for Gardner.
So Hill with the touchdown pass, Gardner with his third touchdown reception. And we are an extra point away from making this a 38-0 game. 7 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Alberta piling it on at this point.
So, of your gags while you were in costume, what was your favorite?
What was my favorite Green Man gag? Which one didn't get us murdered by a player? It's kind of like the ones that, like, on the verge of being killed. I mean, like I said, going back to that Alouettes, Mark Tressman was the one who screamed at us for being in the hallway and started screaming for security. And the security came like, oh, no, these guys have here. We had, like, sideline press passes, which is idiotic. Green spandex. And, like,
file a report for Global News at the end of the game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But, no, in-game, I mean, yeah, like you alluded to the waffles. That was all my partner, Sully. Costco across the street
that was
from
the
Rogers
Leafs,
Arena
right?
Against the Leafs.
Was that Phaneuf?
No,
Phaneuf was the naughty list one, right?
That was Mike Komisarek.
Okay.
Tim Brent, of all people, was the waffle guy, so a little-known player. And,
You guys had a good one with Dave Scatchard when he was on the Predators, too, didn't you?
That was our first ever game, and Dave Scatchard hates us. So BC with the snap.
Let's be honest, most of them hate you.
Exactly, yeah. Cuts back up the middle. And another scramble with the BC quarterback, picking up a couple of yards there. Dave Scatchard was the very first game we ever went to, and he took a penalty. We danced around a little bit. Crowd went nuts. Canucks score on the power play. He takes another penalty. We dance around a little bit. Canucks score on the power play. And he was, after the game, sent down to the minors and never played another game in the NHL for a full year before coming back. And we found out through like a third party that he blamed us. Like, it was our fault he took those penalties. So, unfortunate for Dave Scatchard, but great for us because that kind of got our name out there, and it led us to dancing on the BC sideline. So BC looking for offense here, trying to get on the board, down at 38 points, 6 minutes to go in the game. Second down, the snap, and reverse play, breaks a tackle, brings him down for a big loss.
Wow, the old arm tackle, and not arm tackle the way coaches use it most of the time, but literally tackling a guy by his arm. Really impressive play by number 92, Carson Hartman there.
Just trying to get away. And again, we talked about the size and the weight differential right there. That's 50 pounds.
Yep.
You're not going to break away from him too often.
Yeah,
so.
I've been really impressed with this Alberta squad. Lots of beef on both sides of the ball. That defensive line group, Hartman's been great today. Rain Bannock, number 95, has been big. You were talking about 24, Justin Baniak, earlier.
So punt unit on for BC. 3rd and a mile. Snap away. Kick is blocked. Kick is blocked by Alberta. Ball on the ground, scooped up. Oh, he missed it. Fight for the ball, and
that's Rain Bannock with the block there. Now, yeah, because that ball never changed possession, and a couple Alberta players tried to pick it up, were never able to. So because they didn't gain possession before BC ultimately fell on the ball again, it's not going to count as a possession change. So this is still going to be Alberta's ball, despite the fact that BC, maybe an Alberta guy actually did recover that in the end. Looked like BC 34 came up with it, but Alberta's number 2 was in the area, Riley Easton.
Riley Easton just scooped. Just that one little play and you find your way in the end zone, but not quite. But again, Alberta now right on the edge of another score here with 4 minutes and 45 seconds left. Hill in at quarterback for Alberta. 3 in the backfield. The snap, the handoff, up the gut, and touchdown again for Alberta.
Looked like they had him stop the second effort there.
That is 22, Cade Penny finding the end zone on the second effort.
Yeah, really great job by Cade Penny to power his way into the end zone there.
When it rains, it pours. It is 44-0 Alberta.
That is a common adage here in the Lower Mainland.
Yes.
Actually, I feel like the Lower Mainland's more like when it rains, it will rain all day.
Yes. A touchdown for Penny there to get on the board.
When it rains, it pours is more of an Ontario thing. Here, it'll just mist all day.
An extra point away from a 45-0 lead. Kick is up, and kick is good. So, unlike last night, which was down to essentially the final couple of plays, this one, bit of a blowout. Unfortunately, as Alberta, the size mismatch we've kind of alluded to all morning and afternoon, really on display here, and Alberta's offense not letting up either.
No, they aren't, and it's not like they're dialing up a bunch of crazy plays, things like that. They're just running their bread and butter stuff, and they're executing it well, and full credit to them. I wouldn't let off the gas pedal in a game like this either. So frustrating morning/afternoon for the BC kids. And the series is even going into the rubber match this afternoon.
U17 game coming up at 1:30 right here from McLeod Park in Langley. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Snap, rolling out to his, and throws the ball away. Flag coming in.
Yeah, it should be grounding. And you can see a BC coach on the sidelines telling his quarterback, dude, there's 4 minutes left. Throw the ball. There's 4 minutes left and we're down 45-0. Throw the ball downfield.
So that'll back up BC. It would be nice to see BC manage to get something on the board before the end of this game. Now under 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Thought it was more like the 24 where he threw it from, but nonetheless, that is how that penalty is spotted. It's loss of down and the ball marked at the spot, so it essentially operates as a sack.
Aiden Hewitt back in quarterback for BC, takes the snap. Rolling out to his left, looking to throw downfield, lofts it up, underthrows his receiver.
Well, to his credit, he threw the ball downfield there. And look, I don't want to take anything away from the two quarterbacks here. It's been a tough situation for them to be successful, and they have had hardly any time to throw most of the afternoon. BC's been trying to get them out of the pockets. They can get a little bit of space there, but there's only so much you can do in that situation as well, especially when you're rolling towards the wide side of the field, which is just cavernous in the Canadian game. But Alberta's defensive line has basically made the chances of BC being successful on offense almost non-existent here. So full credit again to that group of guys.
Punt team on for BC, a 3rd and long. Punt away, just gets it off. Alberta with the scoop at the BC 40. Picks up on the left side, cuts out to the right. Going down the middle, picks up some decent yardage and a gain of about 15, 20 yards. So again, great starting field position for Team Alberta. 3 minutes left in the game, and they will start things off on the BC 25-26 with a fresh set of downs.
So I'd expect to see some new numbers called here because this is the point in the game where you're just going, okay, who doesn't have a touch yet today? Let's get some of our skill guys, new skill guys, to have the ball in their hands. So you can see a few of them out there, names that we haven't really called. Number 10 we haven't really called. Number 33 we haven't really called. So keep an eye on those guys. It's Blair Van Berschot and Elias Cooper.
So the snap, and the quarterback is in trouble, brought down by BC. Nice play by the BC defense. They're talking about places we had not been in Alberta. Like, I had never done the Alberta drive, and much like you said, the smoke, I wanted to do the drive through Banff and just completely smoked in. So
that's what we did too.
Yeah, but I stayed in Olds, so
nice,
hometown of Blair Van Berschot. So hopefully his family's watching out there. Stayed in Olds for a couple of nights and then headed back. But yeah, all smoke on the way there, and then it rained. So coming back, got to see all the beauty.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Banff.
It never did clear up for us, and we did the whole Glacier Parkway from Banff up to Jasper. And unfortunately, it's still beautiful, but the whole time you're like, this just could be so much nicer.
Yes. The throw it to the left, caught by number 25, Joshua Mao to St. Albert. And that brings up 3rd down. So there's a couple stops by BC's defense there after falling apart a little bit in the 4th quarter there, 3rd and 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they did because it's we're closing in on lunch and I'm getting kind of hungry, but I'm not really in the mood for a 50 burger today. So
true. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the 4th quarter. The snap, the kick, angling towards the left sidelines, caught at about the 10. Flag on the play, and tackled at about the 12-yard line.
Think you're probably going to get no yards there. It was close to being 5, but I think he may have just been within the 5-yard zone there. Either way, with this kind of scoreline, probably erring on the side of giving BC a few extra yards. That should be a 15-yard variety with the ball caught in the air there. BC's offense, one last chance to get some points on the board here with 1:45 left.
So after the U18s played last night, a pretty entertaining game back and forth. This game very slanted in Alberta's favor, and then we have the U17 game coming up later this afternoon, and it is the tiebreaker because it looks, by all accounts, that it'll be 1-1 between Team Alberta and Team BC.
And since we're both from BC, we're not going to call this an aggregate thing. This is not soccer. This is just straight up dubs.
The snap across the middle, and failing to make the catch out at about the 40. Brings up 2nd down.
There's that seam ball that's one of the few things that BC has had some success with on offense today, and they're just not quite able to connect there. Had the man, little bit of a low throw, and he wasn't able to haul it in.
So 2nd down and long. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think BC has a 1st down in this half. And the trend continues. Incomplete pass brings up 3rd down. Now a 1 minute and 35 left on the clock.
3rd down, 10 to go for Team BC.
So BC in this situation going to keep the offense on the field, take another shot at it here. As you can see, the U17 starting to come out, and you'll see a lot of the same faces from last night, certainly on the BC side at least.
Team Alberta has number 62, Kalen Chavin, on the sideline. Looks like he's got the boot off crutches as he's making his way onto the sideline here. He had a very nice first half, so it's tough to see him injured as he's making his way into the locker room. Snap for BC, thrown down the side, has a receiver, dropped, picked off. It is picked off, bounced in and out of the hands, and he has a lane to the end zone, down the sideline, 5-10, touchdown, Alberta. Again, another big play by number 2, Riley Easton out of Red Deer. And the onslaught continues. It is 51-0.
That's the third interception for Easton today. Quite the showing for number 2 in white. That's about as productive of a defensive day as you're ever going to see. 3 picks and a score for him. And I think that that's probably going to do it here.
Tough go. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. We'll see the replay. And just in and out of the hands and right spot for Riley Easton. And he made a beeline to the end zone. A great defensive output by him today. So, from bad to worse to BC, unfortunately. And you said you didn't want to see the 50 spot, but we have reached that.
So if you are listening and in the neighborhood, you need to bring us burgers now.
Absolutely.
I think that's how that works.
Missed extra point.
Give credit to Shokar, by the way. That was a good throw on that play.
It was.
And the intended receiver there just isn't able to haul it in. But Shokar delivered that one right on the money. Would have had the first down. Was a nice throw from him there. But as with many things today, just did not bounce the way of the BC team.
Yeah. So we have reached the final minute of play. 51. The extra point was no good, so it is 51-0. And it looks like U16 Team Alberta will head into the holidays with a dominating victory, feeling pretty good about themselves as they enter the Christmas break here at McLeod Park in Langley. So we'll see what BC has dialed up, trying to get on the board, find the end zone at least once. But again, it's been very slanted towards the left end of the field from the broadcast position here today. The snap, looking to his left, receiver with the catch, and picks up enough yards to be 1 or 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, there's that screen that's been one of their more successful plays today, going to number 7, Ethan Dahl.
One of the few bright spots in their offense has been Dahl. He's had a really nice game. Picking up yards after contact and after the receptions.
Yep.
Second and short for BC. Clock running now under 30 seconds. Snap out. Looking left. Same play as last time, but unable to haul it in as Dahl this time. And that brings up third down.
Think they'll punt here?
I want to see a fake punt.
That would be
and
awesome.
The game with something spicy.
That would be awesome. I would love to see them do something spicy here.
Coming in is Carter Dallas off the sideline. Now they're bringing him back out. So likely the final play of the game here. Clock running now 10 seconds. As BC sees if they can find a miracle and find the end zone and avoid being shut out by Team Alberta here this afternoon in Langley. The snap, the reverse, up the middle, brought down. Good for the first down, but time expired. Flag down on the play.
I think that might be a late hit on Alberta here. Extend this one for another snap.
See what the refs decide on this play. It is the first down. So one more play to go before we wrap this thing up. And we'll see what BC dials up as they try to find the end zone for the first time today with zeros on the clock. So a reminder for those listening on the broadcast, we do have another game coming up between Team Alberta and Team BC, bumping it up a year in the age. We have the under-17, should be a great showdown. BC winning last night, Alberta on the verge of a victory this morning into this afternoon. So the series will be tied 1-1 as we head into the showdown between the U17s. Final play of the game, lofts it up and nearly picked off, but that is the game. Alberta with the 51-0 victory over Team BC, the under-16 showdown. Number 2, Riley Easton, the defensive star of the game, 3 interceptions. Number 6, Silas Gardner out of Leduc, 3 receiving touchdowns, including 2 49-yard reception TDs in the opening half. A very strong day for him, and Gord, pretty much everything went Alberta's direction.
Yeah. Right from the get-go, Alberta looked like they were ready to go at the beginning of this one. A little bit better prepared, a little bit better execution from the Alberta squad, and frankly, some physical advantages, especially up front on both sides of the ball, made things, a real uphill battle for BC right from the very beginning in this game. So unfortunate to see such a lopsided result in such a game, but hopefully I don't know if nightcap's the appropriate way of referring to it, but hopefully the latter game can bring a more even affair.
So, from McLeod Park in Langley, Adam Forsyth, Gord Randall will be back for the call later this afternoon. The U17 game between Team Alberta and Team BC. For today's game, a 51-0 defeat at the hands of Team Alberta. We'll be back shortly. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great afternoon.